This review is not sponsored by Coke or Diet Coke. I just occasionally put it in my mouth and I drink it. Alright, so you've read the title of this, The Boss Baby. A movie that I thought was going to be complete and utter trash. But it turns out this one's kind of good. Okay, so the basic plot of this movie is one day this kid, Timothy, I think that's what his name is, or the little kid, his last name's Templeton. I'll just call him Templeton. This kid, whose name is going to be referred to as Templeton, is a very, very imaginative boy. He has all this imagination that could take him anywhere. And this was a time before, some of the bigger stuff came out in the 80s. Like, the one thing you could take away from this one is that this film is based in the 70s. It is very much the 70s. It has the Art Deco design. It has a lot of the sort of feel about the 70s. It has the music of the 70s. Pretty much everything about this movie screams 70s. And it definitely does take place in the 1970s. And Templeton lives with his mother and father, who, give him all the attention. Very, very attention hungry. But one day, this baby, played by Alec Baldwin, comes into the fray and steals the limelight. But all is revealed when the baby is actually the head of a corporation that is trying to figure out the what is causing the loss of love to be spread around to babies. Like, there's more people that love dogs more than babies, and they're trying to figure out who's behind it and what does Baby Corp do about it. And it's a weird movie. I can definitely see that. This is a very, very weird movie. And surprisingly, it works. Surprisingly, this is a film that works. The main message I think people can take away from this film is, granted, this is a lesson that's been taught to everyone. There's two lessons, really, to learn. Love can be spread no matter how much you divide it. There's enough love for everyone in the world. It definitely preaches that message by making this story. But also, it's a story about, being an older brother and having, or an older sibling, let's say. An older sibling and having someone else take the limelight away from you. I've certainly been in that spot. As a person that has a sister, that has a little sister who's 7 years younger than me, which is kind of surprising because the main character in this movie was 7 years old when the so-called boss baby comes into his life. That was basically me. How did you guess my age of when my sister came? How did you guess my age? But basically, that aside, I thought that was pretty fucking freaky. Aside from that, this is a very odd movie. There are sequences in this film that has this, it goes into these fantastical areas, the kid has a wild imagination. And I think this is more of an alliteration of how kids view their baby siblings. This entire movie's more of an alliteration of how people view the older siblings view the younger siblings. It's definitely one of those films. But the art style of the kids' sort of imagination is very different each time, and it's every single time I see it, it's beautiful to look at. It's very well done animated, and initially when I was seeing the trailer, it did not look good. I have to be honest, it did not look good when I saw the trailer, and fortunately enough, they fixed it up just a bit. Not too much. It's not, high grade animation, but it's okay. I think it's an okay animation movie. It's a very okay movie. Is this movie dumb? It can be at times. Very, very dumb. But at another times, it has this sort of secret heart about it that I think kids can really take away a good message, while adults can have just a funny time watching a baby Alec Baldwin. As long as you're not watching the other baby Alec Baldwin on the television on SNL. That's just my 2 cents. I don't think Alec Baldwin is that cool of an actor. I think, again, this movie does work, but it does have some problems. It does. Every movie has problems. I'm going to point it out. I think the baby in this movie is a bit too much like a prick. And granted, I think this might be just a tiny nitpick, but he's just, oh my god. I've never seen a baby that demanding. Like, that fucking demanding. Excuse me for my French, seriously, but, oh my gosh, I've never seen a baby like this one be so demanding of an audience. And the baby himself is very, very annoying in the first part of the film. But over time, if this is the start of the film, you have all this, range of bad character stuff here. Then throughout the progression of the story, it gets less and less and less. He becomes more of a better character at the end than at the beginning, which is odd because it flips. It should be something that's flipped or at least streamlined for a character, but it's so odd how they kind of flipped that. I kind of admire it in a way. I'm not saying the movie is great. I'm saying it's okay. If you want to take your kids to go see a movie about a baby who talks like an adult, who has a really good message behind it, then yeah, I'd suggest go see this one. But I think for adults, I don't know if anyone else would get behind it, because this is such a weird film that I don't know if modern audiences would be very into it. I could be wrong, definitely. I could definitely be wrong about this film. As with every other film review I've ever done. But I think The Boss Baby is okay. Definitely not going to buy it on Blu-ray. I think once I watch it, I probably wouldn't want to watch it again. But again, it's such a weird movie. Tobey Maguire's in this film, but the most surprising addition in this movie is Steve Buscemi. I was watching the opening credits of this, which is actually kind of a nice little opening credit, which I thought was going to be an opener to like a Stork sequel. I was like watching the credits, and at the bottom of the screen it says starring Steve Buscemi. It's like, Steve Buscemi's in this, and he kind of plays the villain of the film, and his character's okay. It's a bit one dimensional, just a tiny bit. And it does get into this sort of babyish type writing, but I do think that this film is okay. It's an okay film for kids. It's an okay film for adults. I don't think a lot of adults will like it, but I do think this film is okay. So I'm gonna give The Boss Baby a 6 out of 10. It's a fairly good time. I think some people might enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I just don't think it's a great film. And I actually had more fun because I had a very low expectation for this film ever since watching the first trailer. And it led me to have a better outlook on this film. Is it great? No. Is it good? No. Is it bad? No. Is it decent? Yeah. So yeah, it's an okay film. So tell me down below, what do you think of this movie? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Let me know down in the comment section down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.